Hi, my name is Christopher Wang, and I'm going to be reviewing the talk by Alan Nathan on baseball and physics. Baseball is something that isn't always seen in the perspective of physics, and it's actually quite interesting and quite refreshing to see it in such like a detailed and sciencey method. Um, Normally, it's watched for entertainment, but when you actually break it down into its regular components and everything that actually happens during the game that affects how far the ball flies or how it comes in contact with different things. It's actually quite interesting. First concept he brought up was batted ball speed. It's something that relies on three different variables, which are pitch speed, bat speed, and collision efficiency, which is Q. Just for scope, Q is approximately about zero point 0.2 for a baseball bat. Anyway, he gave us this equation, and it pretty much the batted ball speed, which is BBS, is reliant on Q times the pitch speed and 1 plus Q times the bat speed. The bat speed is much more important than the pitch speed. Actually, there's a ratio of about 6 to 1. So for every miles per hour of the bat speed, it's about 6 feet in baseball travel, and for each miles per hour of ball speed, it's about 1 foot in baseball travel. Another concept he brought up was the coefficient of restitution. It refers to the bounciness of the ball. So when the ball is dropped from a certain distance, it'll usually bounce up to about 1/4 of its initial height, which leads to about half or 3/4 of an energy loss. This is quite important simply because if the ball was too bouncy, then it would bounce off the bat and it would be way too dangerous and it would cause a lot of injuries. But if it wasn't bouncy enough, it obviously wouldn't go very far, and the game would probably get very boring and quite frustrating to play. Um, Another concept is the collision efficiency. It refers to the bat. Uh, so the bat, when it comes in contact with the ball, both of them have a little bit of flex. There's always a little bit of loss of energy transfer due to sound or vibration. This all comes down to the coefficient of restitution. It refers to the bounciness of the ball and obviously the sweet spot of the bat. The sweet spot is where the least vibration actually happens. If you were actually holding the bat when when you hit the ball at the sweet spot simply because it's a clean swing. The bat isn't vibrating in your hands. Uh, but like if you hit the ball at pretty much right after where the grip ends, you'll feel this massive vibration. Or if you hit it at the tip, you'll feel this vibration that sometimes makes your hand hurt quite a bit. Obviously, batting gloves are there to protect your hands from that. And so pretty much if you were a really good batter and could usually hit the ball with the sweet spot of the bat, you probably wouldn't need batting gloves. But since no one or not many people have the ability to do that, they just have the safety precaution of batting gloves. Aluminum bats are also something that is much different when you take a look at lower leagues or younger players opposed to the pretty much major leagues, which uses solely wood bats. Aluminum bats, they're quite effective simply because they're stronger in material. You can make them hollow. Their moment of inertia is also altered. So it allows for a higher bat speed because it has a lower CE. And it also has the trampoline effect with it, which allows the bat to bend somewhat backwards when you take the swing and then fling forward when you actually hit the ball. Even a small kid like this is able to make the bat flex a significant amount, and that leads to a very efficient swing and a very efficient transfer of energy. Forces on the ball are also something that alters on how the ball moves in the air after it leaves the pitcher's hand. There's Magnus force, which is the force of spin on the ball, mostly due to the airflow past the ball. When it has backspin per se, it'll have an upward Magnus force. If it has topspin, like in tennis, it'll have a downward force on it. Drag is also something that uh, is a major impact on the ball speed, whatnot. Without drag, the ball would travel about twice as far. There's also gravity and air resistance, and those are pretty self-explanatory, and they're all shown on the diagram at the bottom right. Knuckleball is also a very interesting concept brought up in baseball. It's something that uses less spin and less speed to actually cause it to be a very jittery or very or erratic movement, which makes it harder for both the batter, the catcher, and the umpire to actually track. Um, this happens because since the ball isn't rotating, the smoothness of the ball and the unevenness of the stitching allows for the air to impact it in different ways simply because it's not a completely smooth surface. So if the ball is tilted in some way or it's not symmetrical, variations in the airflow will cause a slight um, force or alter in force of on the ball, which causes the ball to move in interesting in different directions, and that makes for a very interesting pitch. Anyway, these are all the concepts that our speaker brought up in the lecture today, and it was quite interesting to hear and look up more about. It's something that definitely makes baseball much more enjoyable to watch, and it was definitely an interesting perspective to take.